You know that feeling, right? You've spent more time scrolling through movies than actually watching one. It's a classic struggle. Well, today we're going to dig into why that happens, and we're going to use this really cool approach called service design to figure out how we can fix it, how we can design a better movie night for all of us. Seriously, we've all been there. The endless scroll. It's like a sea of movie posters. What's supposed to be a chill evening turns into this high-stakes negotiation, right? Or worse, you just give up. Total decision paralysis. It's something we all experience, but what's really going on here? Why is this so hard? And here's the crazy part. We have more choices than ever before in history, right? A literal library of films at our fingertips. So what do we do with all that choice? We retreat. We pick the same familiar blockbusters we've seen a dozen times, even when we say we want something new. It's so strange. And look, this isn't just about our own little movie night problem. This has some pretty big cultural consequences. I mean, think about it. For every big Hollywood sequel we rewatch, there are all these amazing independent films, like incredible movies from Estonia and all across Europe, that just get totally buried. They're right there, waiting for us to stream them, but they can't seem to break through all the noise. So, you see where this is going? It's not just about us being indecisive. This is a design challenge. How can we completely rethink the experience of choosing a film so that we actually want to discover something new? How do we help these hidden gems get the audience they deserve? That's the puzzle we're going to try and solve today. Okay, so to tackle a problem this big and, this human, you need more than just a few good ideas. You need a serious toolkit. So we're not just going to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. No, we're going to build what we're calling a super framework by mashing together two really powerful models from the world of service design. So what's in this framework? Well, it's a mix of two big ideas. First up is the double diamond model. The easiest way to think about this is like a step-by-step recipe, a clear process to follow. Then we're combining that with something called Maritz's spaces. And that one is all about the big picture. It forces us to zoom way out and see the whole system, all the invisible things that are shaping our decisions. And when you put them together, boom, something really cool happens. This hybrid model gives us the best of both worlds. We get a really clear 6-stage process to follow, but it also makes sure we never forget about all the complex, messy, human stuff going on in the background. This right here, this is our roadmap for fixing movie night. All right, let's jump into the first half of our framework. This is so important because before you can even think about coming up with a solution, you have to be 100% sure you're solving the right problem. And that's the entire goal of this first diamond in our model. Now, this whole framework has a really simple rhythm to it. Think of it like breathing. First, you have to breathe in. That's divergence. This is where you go super wide. You explore every single possibility. You don't judge any ideas. You're just casting a huge net to gather everything you can. And then, of course, you have to breathe out. That's convergence. After you've gone wide, you do the exact opposite. You start to narrow things down, you look for patterns, and you focus until the one true core issue becomes crystal clear. So that rhythm, that breathing in and breathing out, plays out across two steps here in our first diamond. Step 1, the divergent part, is understanding. This is where we do all the research. And step 2, the convergent part, is thinking. That's where we take everything we learned and really figure out the root cause of the problem. So what did the research actually find in that understanding stage? Well, it turns out our movie choices are almost never about how good a film is objectively. It's almost all emotional. We choose based on our mood at that exact moment, how familiar something feels, if it seems to fit a genre we think we like, and, what everyone's talking about, the social buzz. And this is the big aha moment from the thinking stage. The real problem isn't that these European films aren't good enough. Not at all. The problem is that they have unmet information needs. That's a fancy way of saying we just don't have the right info to guess how a movie is going to make us feel. And because we can't predict that feeling, we just avoid the risk and pick something safe. Okay, so we've nailed down the real problem. Now for the fun part. We get to move into the second half of our model, the second diamond, which is all about designing the solution. This is where we can get really creative and start building a better experience. And you guessed it, we use that exact same rhythm again. We breathe in, we diverge. But this time, instead of exploring the problem, we're brainstorming solutions. The goal here is just to come up with as many ideas as we possibly can. Nothing is too crazy at this stage. It's all about creative expansion. So, this second diamond takes us through the last 4 stages of the whole process. Let's run through them real quick. We start by generating all those ideas. Then we filter them down to find the very best ones. After that, we explain the final concept so everyone's on the same page. And finally, we realize it. We actually build it and bring it into the real world. Let's just focus on that generating stage for a second, because this is where the magic really happens. The whole point here is to let your imagination run wild and build this big portfolio of ideas. And every single idea has to be aimed at solving that one core problem we found, those unmet information needs. And this is where you get some really cool, concrete solutions. Instead of just star ratings, what if you had mood-based recommendations? Or what about these super short micro-trailers for social media that don't spoil the plot, but just sell you the vibe of the film? Or maybe curated collections like European Voices that give you a little context. You see? All of these ideas are designed to give us that emotional info we've been missing. So those final stages, filtering, explaining, and realizing, are all about turning the best of those ideas into reality. You filter them by testing them out with real people. Then you explain the final concept with a solid plan. And finally, you realize it. You actually build the thing, whether it's a new feature on a streaming app or even a whole new layout for a cinema lobby. Okay, so we've walked through this whole process to fix movie night, but let's zoom out one last time. Why does any of this really matter? Well, because this whole way of thinking, it's a tool you can use for way more than just picking a movie. Really, when you get down to it, this model is a powerful template for making any service better, especially when it involves a tricky human choice. I mean, think about trying to choose a healthcare plan, or picking a college, or even just deciding where to go for dinner. That same simple rhythm, go wide, then narrow down, can help you find the real problem and design a much better solution. So I guess the biggest takeaway is this. Our choices never happen in a vacuum. Everything from the way an app is designed, to the words used in an ad, to the bigger cultural stories we hear, it's all part of a huge system that influences us. And if you really want to fix an experience, you can't just look at one piece. You have to understand the whole system. And that leaves us with one last question for you to think about. Now that you have this powerful way of looking at things, take a look at the world around you. Think about navigating the subway or dealing with customer service on the phone. What's that one frustrating, everyday experience that you would redesign first?